This is the AEW Dynamite May 1, 2024 full show results video, which takes place at Canada Life Centre in Winnipeg, Manitoba. The show opens with Tony Khan coming at us live via satellite in Jacksonville, Florida, wearing a neck brace. He says he's here to produce the show long distance because of the injuries that the Young Bucks and Jack Perry visited on him, but the video cuts out and the Bucks appear to say, "Oh no, they lost connection," and people might wonder why they aren't fired after last week, but they have ironclad contracts with founders clauses and they and their colleagues aren't going anywhere. And further, if Tony Khan isn't available, the EVPs run the show, so they're in charge tonight, and they toss to the new opening of the show, which is all about the Elite. Shane Strickland makes his entrance and gets on the mic, and he calls the Elite out for doing a bitch move last week and wants to get down to the business of figuring his opening out for Double or Nothing, and he tells whoever it is to come present themselves but to wipe their feet before they step in his house. The Young Bucks appear on the screen and congratulate him and say they're also champions, and now the success is clearly getting to his head and he needs a dose of humility. So they're arranging the very best, perfect opponent for him at Double or Nothing, a Canadian former champion at the go position, ready to meet him, and it was returning Christian Cage and the Patriarchy. He and Mother Wayne get in the ring and square up like he's gonna cut a promo, but he just sucker punches Strickland and Shane recovers, a flurry of punches, but he stops short of hitting Mother Wayne. Killswitch takes him out and Christian drops him with a killswitch. Christian says Swerve has had this coming since he attacked his son Nick Wayne months ago, and now he's gonna make his world title a footnote. He tells Shane he's gonna give his daughter a father she can be proud of for the rest of her life, so at Double or Nothing he's going to walk into his house and rip the world title out of his hands, and the pain has only just begun, and Killswitch picks Swerve up and yanks a handful of hair out of his head, and Christian raised the AEW world title. Then we saw an AEW TNT Championship Open Challenge match between Adam Copeland versus Buddy Matthews, and the result of this match was Adam Copeland defeated Buddy Matthews by pinfall with a spear, retaining the AEW TNT Championship. Post-match, Copeland grabs a pair of chairs and cuts Matthews off, setting him up on one chair and grabbing the other, evil on his mind when the lights go out. They come back up, and Malachi Black is standing next to him, encouraging him to do it, and Buddy, kneeling upright, tells Copeland to do it, but the lights go out again and they come back up and Adam Copeland is alone in the ring. The next match happened between Isaiah Cassidy versus Samoa Joe, and the result of this match was Samoa Joe won the match by pinfall with the Muscle Buster. Back from the commercial, Orange Cassidy makes his entrance and gets on the mic, and he says he thought after Saturday when his best friends Chuck and Trent beat each other up in the parking lot they'd get it out of their system and then all stand in this ring together as best friends, but that's never going to happen, because he's been told that because of what Beretta did, Chuck Taylor will never wrestle again. So now he's standing in the ring alone to tell Trent Beretta that the next time he sees him, and Trent Beretta comes, and says Orange is trying to make something else about himself again. Orange charges and security holds him back while Trent calls him selfish and blames him for Chuck's career ending, and Don Callis comes down amid the chaos and Trent ends up giving a thumbs up. Renee Paquette interviews the Young Bucks, but they decide to give their time to scapegoat Jack Perry, and he says he meant it when he told Tony Khan that all he wants is what's best for AEW, and last week was part of that even if you can't see. He accepted being the scapegoat because someone needed to make that sacrifice, but we all need to make sacrifices, and now we enter a new era under the Elite. The next match happened between Chris Jericho versus Katsuyori Shibata for the FTW Championship, and the result of this match was Chris Jericho defeated Katsuyori Shibata by pinfall with a folding press with the help of Bill Morrissey, retaining the FTW Championship. Chris Statlander, Stokely Hathaway, and Willow Nightingale are interviewed backstage by Renee Paquette. Chris apologizes for her part in last week's kerfuffle and Willow accepts Sky's challenge, and Hathaway complains about not being able to complain to anybody since the Bucks beat up Tony Khan, and before payday no less. The Bucks send word that Chris and Stokely are banned from ringside, and if anyone interferes Willow will be stripped of her title, and Hathaway asks what he did to deserve this besides his own actions. The next match happened between Brian Cage versus Claudio Castagnoli, and the result of this match was Claudio Castagnoli defeated Brian Cage by submission with the sharpshooter. The next match happened between Mariah May versus Serena Deeb, and the result of this match was Serena Deeb defeated Mariah May by submission with a half crab. Kenny Omega makes his entrance and gets on the mic and says he was diagnosed with diverticulitis a couple of months back and he was 24 hours away from dying at one point. He said, "Cool story, doc, can you patch me up and send me back to Dynamite?" but he was told that if he was going to have surgery right away he might have to wear a colostomy bag for the rest of his life, and if he doesn't, he'll have a ticking time bomb in his gut for the rest of his life, and any sort of blunt force trauma to the stomach could kill him. He says he was very close to announcing retirement, but he realized he needs to be in the ring more than he needs to breathe, and being the best is what fuels him. He says it hurts to be gone and be out of the conversation about who's the best, and he promises us that this isn't over until he exhausts every option. He calls the Young Bucks out and says they've embarrassed themselves more than ever and they're free to do that, but they forgot that there's one other EVP. He may be fired from the Elite, but they can't fire him as an EVP, so until someone says otherwise, part of the power in this company belongs to the Best Bout Machine. Kazuchika Okada comes, and Omega recalls their New Japan rivalry and says they'll settle it in an AEW ring in a few months. Kazuchika tells him sorry, he's the Best Bout Machine now, and Jack Perry blindsided Omega. Okada throws Perry a chair, he whacks security with it, Kenny slides under, lefts and rights, knees to the midsection, hits the dragon suplex, but Kenny immediately clutches his stomach. Calling for it, off the ropes, Okada trips him up, and Jack Perry rams the chair right into Omega's diverticulitis, and the Young Bucks come down mock concerned but end up grabbing Kenny's wrists, hit the EVP trigger. FTR makes the save as a medic slides in to check on Kenny Omega, and the show goes off the air.